think you can see there that, and I think listening to Joni speak, someone who is authentic, genuine, and wants to serve this country with a pure heart, that's what I'm sure Iowa, but I can tell you that's what this country's starving for. Somebody real that wants to serve this country with a pure heart and make a difference. And when you contrast that to her opponent, I'm not talking about genuine and authentic, with a pen camera, you can see what Braley's authenticity is all about. And when he goes down to Texas to speak to a bunch of trial lawyers at a cocktail reception, he basically makes fun of the foundation of what makes Iowa great. I can't even understand how he's even in the conversation. I come from Wisconsin. I'm your neighbor. And I got to tell you, if somebody went around the country and jabbed at the Packers, Harley Davidson, Miller Lite, cheese, it doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, that person doesn't belong in the conversation. But when you think about why things are working here, and your governor, Lieutenant Governor Reynolds, I used to, before Wisconsin was, you remember, we were totally blue. I mean, we were kind of a little bit behind y'all. But when I would give these talks, I would ask this question about our party. You know, what does this party need? And it's a pretty simple thing. We need people of their word to run for office, and then who govern like they campaigned. And that's really what you have in your governor. Makes simple promises, and then delivers because he's a man of his word. This stuff is not that complicated. You know, I just happen to believe that we're in a battle for freedom in this country. That's where we're at. It's the same battle that founded this country. It's the same battle that James Madison reaffirmed in the Bill of Rights. And here we are today. Senator Reince talked about ISIS and what's going on across this globe and the dangers that we're facing across the seas. We have a domestic policy issue in our White House where we've got a president that's bizarrely detached, even from his own leadership and his own party. We need somebody with a clear mind and a leader that can go to Washington. And yeah, I think that's right. Bring Iowa values to Washington and clean things up. You know, Abraham Lincoln said that the Constitution is the safeguard of our liberty. And in the Constitution, the power resides with we the people. And it's something that the Senate, Bruce Braley, this president, although a constitutional law professor, seems to have forgotten. And it's time for us, it's time for you all to stand up, and you can make the difference in this country. I know Joni's going to be your senator. I know that. But you know what? It affects the entire country. Because we elect Joni Ernst as the next U.S. Senator, we fire Harry Reid, and we get this country. You know what? It's crunch time now. Voting starts today. That's why we're here. We're 100% in here on the ground. And I want to tell you something. The difference, I think, between where we were at years ago with our national party and where we are today is that we can't be a national party that shows up once every 4 years, a few months before an election. We basically became a U-Haul trailer of cash for a presidential nominee. Well, that's a losing strategy. We're here to stay, and we know that if we pave the way here in Iowa for the good, for the right reasons, that we know that we stay here, we not just have a great midterm here in 2014, but we turn Iowa red in 2016, save this country, and put a Republican in the White House. And I gotta tell you, it seems like simple stuff, right? Permanent ground game, get your act together when it comes to digital and data, right? Reform the primary system a little bit so you don't have a 23 debate traveling circus. Reasonable things. But reasonable wasn't what's been going on for a lot of years. And that's what we're here to fix. You have an opportunity here in this 3rd Congressional District to keep that district red. You've We've got a candidate just like Terry Branstad, just like Joni Ernst, just like Kim Reynolds and David Young that's going to make that happen and keep things on track in our House. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the soon-to-be new congressman from the 3rd Congressional District, David Young.